Alright, and after placing the Tabasco seeds in a bowl and up on the shelf to dry, letting my mouth, calm down a little bit more here, I am back. We'll see if the marathon mode will continue on into the night. I have with me right now a very special one that I was hoping for them to get bigger, but this will do. It is a Caribbean Red, or a Caribbean Red Hot. It's a type of habanero, a Chinense variety. Just looks like a miniature habanero with a slightly more pointed tip and rounded fruit shape instead of the collapsed triangle look of a traditional habanero. I've had one of these before that was slightly more like a cherry tomato or a grape tomato type shape, and I have one on my plant right now that I'll examine it and see if it's gotten any riper. It's pretty pale green, yellowish, and if it has any blush red on it, which is what this one was like, it just had a little bit on the tip here, and I brought it out and put it in a bag with some other chilies and a banana to ripen, and this is what color it's turned now, so I think that's good enough to try and eat. I'm going to cut this in half with a knife and see what kind of seeds we got in here, but first, since it's a habanero, and since that Tabasco I just tried, which was smaller than this, was hot, I can imagine a habanero, even at this size, is going to be a lot hotter. So, let's delve into it, shall we? Okay. My chili knife. Okay, so let's pluck off this crown, which will summarily go off to the side, and I'm going to dry it. Okay, let us tilt this down so y'all can see. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to make an incision along the outer edge here. I don't want to cut any of the seeds in half. I don't know how many there are going to be in here. Actually, I'll go all the way around. Okay. Let's take a peek, shall we? Alright. Well, looks like there's a couple. So I'm gonna carve out the seeds. Okay, well, only 2 seeds, but that's some viable looking seeds. They sound nice and hearty here. I'll put that off to the side. Alright, so Caribbean Red here. I'll once again do a cross section here. You can see on the right hand side especially, it's got that nice yellow color to the placental tissue. Well, you're right, my left. Okay. So, Caribbean Red, miniature style, but it's still probably going to be damn hot. Nice, faintly sweet, but faintly bitter still, because it wasn't fully ripe when I picked it. Nice habanero flavor. Good crunchy, medium to thin walls of the flesh. I can feel my face heating up a little bit. Ooh. I'm sure me going a while between waterings, which I did on purpose to try and optimize the heat level of the peppers. I've heard that if you don't water them quite as often, they'll increase their capsaicin production and bump themselves up closer to the upper end of the scale. Damn, that little bugger's got some heat. Woo! Borderline. I feel like I may get hiccups. But, oh, it's quickly passing, though. Good chin-ends burn. I can feel the quality of the capsaicins and other capsaicinoids. I don't remember the exact term. I'm sorry. A little bit of sting on my left hand side of my throat, back of my tongue. Oh, forehead's getting a little warm. Not sweating, but if it had been a bigger pod, I probably would be sweating. Very nice flavor, though. I would imagine that if I had had a better harvest and the peppers had gotten bigger, probably would have been quite a bit hotter and a bit sweeter. But the essential flavor is nice. Slightly sweeter than a regular habanero, and a slightly different flavor. The one that I had last year was like a passion fruit type flavor. This one maybe wasn't quite like that. A little more like a traditional hab flavor. But not quite the same. More of a not a cherry, but some other type of fruit flavor undertone. Having trouble, it's fleeting in my memory now. Lingering hab flavor in my mouth. Since it was such a small pot, it wasn't quite enough to knock out my sense of taste like some of them have. Hell of a lot of drool, though. Top of my tongue's got a good even upper mid, especially on either side of my tongue, in little nodule type regions on the top of my tongue towards the back, on either side of that. A little bit stronger on this side. Same thing with this side of my throat too a minute ago, actually, now that I think about it. Well, definitely a success in the respect that the flavor turned out well, and they were pretty hot. I could have done better. I could have done more. I was neglectful in my gardening duties this year. I had a lot on my plate with the garden, and there were other things that I was doing, so. But, anyway, I got some good pods off of my plants, and that's cool for me. And I'll learn my lessons from what I did this year and build on that. So when I grow them next year, I'll be able to increase my yield by quite a bit, because I plan on growing about 40 different kinds, so. Well, I don't know, I think for me diving full bore into it's a good way for me to learn. This is still clipping along at a good burn level here. I'm looking, the video's approaching the 9-minute mark. I didn't eat the pepper until 2 to 2.5 minute mark. So 6.5, 7 minutes. Wow. That's pretty impressive for such a little one. Not that I haven't had small peppers that knocked my socks off, so to speak, but, and it is a habanero, so I also shouldn't be all that surprised. I'm very pleasantly surprised, actually, that it turned out at this heat level. Chili peppers do their own thing. They got the skills to get the job done as far as their own heat goes. I just need a little initial TLC to get the plants to that point. to where they can produce the pods. But I'm rambling on here about, well, I guess related topics, but a little bit of on the top of my tongue still is got a pretty good glow happening here. Over 10 minutes now. Damn. I keep looking at that timer creeping up, and the burn is still there. It's not getting any worse, and it has toned itself down a little bit, but it's clipping along at a pretty steady level here this whole time. It peaked at around 5 to 6 minute mark, maybe 7 minutes. Well, 7 minutes on this timer. Wow. Mage. My eldest kitty hiding in the shadows. Back of my tongue is probably the most noticeable. I get a faint tickle in my throat once in a while when I inhale. Kind of tickle that makes me want to cough a little bit. This is still going pretty well here on the back of my tongue. Not really anything happening on my lips. Maybe a faint bit on my upper lip. Yeah, a little bit. Drool is starting to dissipate just a pinch. But it's still there. Roof of the mouth. Not all that much, but a little bit. It's mainly when I'm feeling a little something right in here too. But yeah, not all that bad. So in conclusion, Caribbean red. Or red-orange, in my case. Not as bright, vibrant red as it'll become if it's left on the plant to ripen. But Chinense varieties have a longer growing time than other types. So my plants didn't get all that big, and I didn't water them as frequently as I should have. I didn't mulch around the base to retain water. I didn't feed them with any sort of pepper formula plant foods or anything like that. And plus I had them mixed in with other things, so they were shaded out and the plants didn't get as big as they should have. There are a lot of things I could have done differently that I didn't. But I nonetheless got some pods off of, I think, every one of my every one of the varieties, not necessarily every one of my plants. Yeah, I got one on my chocolate bell finally, but that's still, I don't know if I'm going to get a good chocolate colored one. It might stay that color. Super Chilies did best out of any of them. Caribbean red, actually my smaller plants of that each have like 3 pods on them, but they're all really small. Like, actually even smaller than the one I ate. Although I do have one that's bigger than that too. So yeah, Caribbean red. I know that they got a hell of a heat at a larger size because the one I had last year was really hot. But even at this really small, less than an inch, probably a centimeter long pepper there, still kicked it out quite a good tongue lashing, as it were. And it stuck around. It's pretty much gone now, but a little bit at the back of the tongue still. So that stuck around for about 10 minutes there after I ate the pepper. That was an impressively long-lasting burn for the smallness of the pepper. So yeah, highly recommend the Caribbean Reds. Hab flavor, but with a fruity twist. The bigger they get and the riper they get, permutes into a passion fruit-like flavor. So I highly recommend growing these guys because it's one of the better habanero type for the flavor, and it has a really nice high-level heat, so perfect for a spicy salsa or pepper mash. Yeah, might be good pickled too. So, all right, hey, I'm gonna cut this one off. We're at 14 and a half minutes, so thanks for watching. See ya.